Hello and welcome back to another week of Sambo iRacing. We are back in the Ford Mustang GT4, this time at Daytona Road for yet another track guide. But this is a special one because as well as covering the normal 2 series, it's also covering the Raw special event. And as such, if you want to drive the exact setup being driven in this track guide by Gianni Lutzu, you can go to our website, sambosetups.com, and they have everything available there. The normal race, wet if it is wet, and we have the endurance as well as quali variants. Any questions, let me know in the comments. And as always, we're going to do a hot lap, then a breakdown. Then we will be back in the cockpit one final time, the driving line on, without me talking. So here we are coming into turn 1, and we're going to brake. Second to last set of lines there. On the brakes for about 55%. Just a long hold, picking it back up in second gear at the apex. Very important you brake early enough at turn 1. Now, the last of these lines, once again, on the brakes for about 70% initially, and again, long trail off, picking back up on the gas in second gear. A lot of patience, again, on throttle application there. It's not a car you can sort of throw about like a Porsche Cup or anything like that. Flat out. Now, as we come up to these cones, in the middle of them, on the brakes, holding it around 70%, again, trying not to destroy those tyres, especially if you're doing this in an endurance event. Exit nice and wide, going to head over to the right side now at the very start of this entrance road. On the brakes for about 70% briefly. Now longest trail off, back on the gas in second gear. And it's that toss-up between trying to cut the corner but not scrub the tyres. This is a car where we're just trying to point as straight as possible as we go through that. I'll show you more in the breakdown lap. Absolutely flat out, obviously, through turn 8. And now we come up to the tricky bit. We jump on the brakes just after the 2. Going to trail it off, picking back up in third gear. Just in between the second and the third apexes. We'll go in more detail once again in the breakdown lap. Just hooking it nice and tight, close to the bottom. And you can no longer go all the way under the yellow. And over and across we go in a 1:51.3. Right, we'll do the breakdown lap now. Okay, so here we are on the breakdown lap. And our first braking marker is going to be exactly here. So it's going to be just before we get to the second to last white line in the middle of the road. So as you can see, it's coming up and it's going to actually hit. Where is it? Just as we get to it right now, he's going to jump on the brakes. So it's as soon as that second to last one disappears in front of your bonnet. Going to get on the brakes, and he initially holds at around 60%. And he's trying to not do too much steering, so you don't want to go too inward on here because it's a long corner and it does tighten. But you want to get your car all the way over to the right-hand side of this white line. Still holding it at around 55-60%, just bleeding that speed off. And now we start turning in down to second gear and starts picking back up on the gas, more or less at the apex of that long corner. Takes some curve there, and again here, but you've got to be careful if you're in the LMP3 doing this because that curve can kill you. And once again, we're going to start braking just as we get to the end of these white lines in the middle of the road once again. So as soon as they disappear, on the brakes, and again, initially up to about 70%. Just a slow, long trail off, picking back up in second gear as soon as you can start to see the Ferris wheel. I think that's the word that you guys call it. Coming up in front of you. Right, flat out through turn 5. And for turn 6, we're going to start braking once we're alongside this set of cones that are coming up on the left-hand side. So you can see that they start to disappear, and as soon as, yeah, they're more or less all gone on the brakes, and again, initially up to about 70%, not wanting to destroy those tyres, as I mentioned, long trail off. We don't start picking back up on the gas until you're pointing more or less at that little stand up in front of us. And he doesn't reach 100% until he's, yeah, more or less at corner exit, although his right-hand tyres are still on that curving. Still a little kick out, you notice. Right, we've got this little entrance road on the right-hand side here. So I don't mean the first one, but I mean the one that's actually in the same colour asphalt as the track. As soon as we get to the entrance of it, as you can see, on the brakes, and again, initially up to about 65–70%, but a relatively short trail off, picking back up on the gas once you're pointing not at the tyre wall in front of you, but once you're pointing at that stand up ahead. Now, in other cars, you try and hold this sort of 90 degrees down to try and cut the corner here. But the Mustang isn't one way you can do that, so more or less straight. And as you see now, he's just doing it almost straight, just a little bit of left hand down. Because he doesn't want to scrub the tyres and scrub that speed. Right, and we're going to start braking at this 2 marker, so I will go forward slowly and see exactly when he hits it. So yeah, just started getting on the brakes now with the 2 just in front of us. Only goes up to about 65–70% again, and now he trails it off down to the first apex. Now he's going to straighten his wheel and go a little bit harder on the brakes. He's not touched the gas at all since he started braking. Goes through that, and only now, once he's through those first 2 sets of bollards or curbs, whatever you call them, does he start picking back up on the gas. Now, it's not as lenient as it has been in previous seasons in terms of the off-tracks, and you'll notice that when you come to test here. So just be aware of that. And this bit's all self-explanatory. Keep it down the bottom of the track near the yellow line, and you can't cross the yellow line with all your wheels at the exit. You might want to cross them with your bottom ones in practice, not practice, in a quali. But in a race, you'll want to stay up here to improve your own entry into turn 1. So that is the breakdown lap of the Ford Mustang GT4 at Daytona. We've got one final version coming up next with the driving line on without me talking. Enjoy.